Hello and welcome back to episode 20 of season 2 Fan Factory Friday. And firstly, I need to say we have not seen a map like this in the series, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed by it. And the second thing that I want to say is that this is the last episode of this season, but don't worry, we intend to return with season 3 in a few months, and with it, hopefully, we'll have a way to share Fan Factory maps through our website satisfactorytips.com. But enough on that, let's jump into the episode. Today we're checking out Calamity's no modded save, and with a total of 179 hours, he and his friend definitely put some hard graft into it. But what stands out about this map, alongside the epic architecture, are these odd scenes that are just for decoration, which in itself makes this save feel more like a storytelling adventure, and it's something I'd love to see more of. The save itself has several large factories spread around the map, fed by huge suspended conveyor buses, and he's really gone all out with these buses, and I think they look great. He uses large bus platforms regardless of the amount of conveyor outputs he's using. This way he gives his buses an overall style, and as more and more conveyors are merged into this particular platform bus, more conveyor buses are used up, and it looks great. That being said, not all are exactly the same, such as this bus platform here, which spirals the legs upwards rather than keeping them straight. And I think this is just a quiet little nod towards modern art. As we follow the bus to the factory, you can see just how much thought has gone into the architecture and planning. And I love that he's also taken into account the manta ray. I mean, look how close this is. As the resources are brought into the factory, they use a conveyor lifting system housed within glass, which looks incredibly neat as it disperses throughout his factory. And though he's yet to use these resources, you can tell that Calamity is working to a plan, and I'm sure it will pay off. In the heart of this factory, he has a really cool storage area, with the best bit being his conveyor belts in the center, giving it a little bit of life. Back on the outside, he's already prepped coal generators along the wings of the factory, which allows him the opportunity to showcase his beautiful pipeline talent. Beneath the pipeline, we have rails which head to the oil islands, but before we get there, we should probably head around to the train garage. This little scene is for decoration, but it really does show off what opportunities this game could give us. Calamity makes use of all sorts of items and build styles to paint this picture. The trains waiting at the side, the supply depot and the garage. A huge amount of work has gone into the showcase, and in my opinion makes this factory stand apart from all the other factories we've seen. And we've got more coming, don't worry. I also loved the setting and the use of the colours. Really great work here. Before moving onwards, let's head to his primary factories. Now these both have a great style and look like standalone factories. I love the gentle vehicle ramp into the underbelly of the factory. Here we have the refueling area, but once again, the things that stand out are the decorations and the use of different items to give his factory this particular look. Inside this depot, he also has miners housed within the factory, which I think look great. And he obviously has a huge amount of production going on in the factory once it's powered as well. And I feel that he's put a huge amount of work into the architecture of the build throughout. There is no angle that these factories do not look great. Returning to the rails, we'll head across to the oil fields, but for this, we're going to need a new viewpoint. We really need to stand away from this build to take in just how much work has been put into this crazy bridge. Look how the architecture follows from this chunky curve theme with jagged edges, both from the factory but across the bridge. The supports look great, the use of piping is some of the best, if not the best that I've seen, and the combination of glass and rails, the use of frames, everything just merges into one perfectly. And I really cannot get over this angular support. Really, this is ASMR for my eyes. In fact, this whole build is. Beneath the top layer we also have pipes pumping water from the falls to his factory, and the pump facility that is at the end of this build is again on a whole new level. I really feel I cannot do justice for the amount of work Calamity has put into this. I think the walkways add to the industrial look alongside the pipe placement, and I love the mirrored build on both sides of the track. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the bridge has a workroom and mini station, and this particular station style has actually inspired me to use a similar approach in our Tuesday live streams. There is so much detail in this map, and moving on from the bridge we have this curved causeway which looks stunning, and the dedication to placing the supports is definitely appreciated. The causeway is then beautifully merged onto the main track to the oil refineries, but before we get there, let's check out the crash site, another element of storytelling which just elevates this build in my mind. As we head to the refinery and fuel generator setup, you cannot help but be in awe by this monolith, a totally different take on a factory, and it reminds me of a combination of flight pads from Star Wars and a Shinto temple. It's a weird synergy that just branches out and upwards. Each element of the factory seems to be well thought out, and it considers even the nature surrounding. Below we have a station to drop off supplies, and from here he uses the diluted packaged fuel and compacted coal to produce turbo fuel to feed his monolith. Which towers above the space elevator. There is so much detail here that, and I've already said this before, I really don't feel I can do this factory justice. But what I can say is that I'm truly inspired by it, and can only say I'm excited for it to develop further. And when he gets round to building his nuclear power plants along these cliffs, I'd definitely be down to check out this factory again. But summing up, this is an awesome factory that really nicely brings the season to a close. It encompasses both storytelling, factory and architecture, and really does stand out. So if you did love this factory, then do hit the thumbs up and let me know what your favourite aspect of it was. Also, if you're new to my channel, why not check me out over on Twitch or subscribe to me on here, where I produce regular Satisfactory content. And special thanks does go to Calamity for sharing this with us. Anyway guys, until next time, thank you so much for watching, and as always, ciao for now.